Welcome to another 88K model railroad video. This is a continuation of our Wiki Demo Plan. This is part 4 and it's printing of the overlay. Now there's a couple of steps that we have to do in order to get to the final printout. First, we need to make a decision on the format. Are you going to use a desktop printer that prints out letter size sheets, or are you going to use a wide format printer or a plotter? In this case, I'm going to use a plotter. And once you make that decision, then it's going on into the shape itself. So we'll have to export a 3D model of the layout and then extract the outline, and that outline is what we're going to print out. So once we extract the outline, then we can convert it into a PDF or PTL file, and then once that's done, then we can use the plotter to print out the edge. In this case, it's a plotter and it has a pin adapter, so you can put a felt tip pin in the adapter and then it will just go around and trace the shape that you need. So let's get started. Now we're back into AnyRail, and if you remember or recalled, we had this set up for millimeters because that's how the unit track is set up. But now we're going to do the printout, and it's easier for us to kind of convert it to inches because that's something that we're more familiar with. So if I change this to English or inches and fraction, and now you can see that the length is now 60 inches. It's converted it, and now it's 1 inch or 12 inches grids. So this, you can see that there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, which is 60 inches, which is 5 feet. And we want to get the printout to be as small as possible, or condense it as much as possible. So we can actually eliminate a whole foot here. So if we go back into settings, and then this is our length, so let's change it to 48 inches instead of 60, and then now that gives us the 2x4. With that done, we can go and now let's set up our printing. So we want to export. Now I want to show you something with why I'm using the plotter instead of the printer, or why I typically use the plotter instead of the printer. So if we were to go in and change this to a layout or a letter landscape, you can see one sheet is 8.5 inch by 11 inch. And it would take 20 sheets to print this up. But if we convert this to what a plotter can do, and my plotter can do anywhere from 30 inches wide to 15 or 20 feet long. In this case, we're going to set it up for 25 inches wide and 49 inches. And now you see it converted it to just one sheet, so this is going to be one single printout. So that's kind of what, or the reasoning behind the plotter. It's a lot easier to just use that one sheet versus 20 sheets, and then having to tape them together and all of that. So let's go in and let's just print this out. This is the WIKI Wiki underscore demo score trace. So let's save this file. So we're going to save that PDF file as well. But what we need to do is a 3D. So we want a 3D STL file, and then with that we're going into CAD, and let's pull out the track or the ground and the tunnels and just do the track. And here we convert it to an STL file, and I'll just use that name, and let's just -1. And now this is the STL file. So if we open up the Rhino, which is the CAD program, we can then open, okay, with that closed, let's open up the STL file. Close that again here. Open. And now Let's rotate this so we can see the overhead. Okay, so this is the overhead file. If you zoom in, you can see that this is the first piece of track here at that corner. This is by station 1, and we know that that first piece is 62 millimeters. So this, when it imported in, it kept it at the inch versus the millimeters. So it's like 160. It's scaled down like 160 times. So what we want to do is scale it back up to full size. So we know that this is 62 millimeters. So if we come here at this point, scale out, and then move this to 62 millimeters. Now we know that this is the line in the reference point. So we can go in here and then scale this up. So we scale 3D. We pull this first piece here of 62. This is the second point. And then now let's scale it all the way up to the 60 here. That's the end. Okay, so now we can check it by measuring the width of the track, and we know that the width of the track is 25 millimeters, and now we see 25. So we know that it's scaled up correctly. So now there's a lot of detailed information that comes out of this, and it's pretty much the exact or right on. So remember when we did this last piece here, we came up with 72 millimeters, but then we could only get 71. So there's a 1 millimeter gap, and now you can see that the program brought that in. So we're going to have to fix that. Now if we go here and we do curves, come here and do a mesh outline, now we can pull out and extract that the outline of the track. So now let's move this down, and now you can see this one piece here. So let's fix this. So if we go in here and if we expand that or explode it, we can delete these pieces out, and we'll just seam them together here. So let's convert this to a point, move it, attach it, go here, convert this to a point. Attach that. So now let's join these pieces here. Okay. So now we've got the full outline. If we take this and let's export it, so we're going to take this, go in and export, select it, and now what we're going to do is let's do it as an Illustrator file here, and then Wiki. Call it 3. So now you can see it's 1 for 1, and we want to just keep it in the scale, just reserve the scale. Okay, so with that done, now what we can do is pull up Corel, and with Corel we'll be able to convert the file into a plotter format. So let's go in and import this. And remember, we had the third file. So now you can see the file, or not the file, but the plan, and now these are the lines. So now let's take Corel, and what we'll do is we'll export it, and we'll export it into the HPGL file, which is that PLT, which is a plotter format. So we'll call this Wiki, W-I-K-I underscore DEMO underscore trace underscore 4. So I keep counting up higher and higher so I'll know where I'm at. Okay, so now with the plotter it goes in and you have different colors and whatnot, but we're just going to use black. And we say okay. So now we've got the plotter format here. And now next what I'll do is I'll pull in a program. This is for like a vinyl cutter. I think it's here. Here it is. Okay, so now if I go in and import this plotter, do an import. Those are step inches there. And then now we've got the program in the plotter program. And now what you could do is let's move this over, and we need to give it a stroke, or actually the fill here. Okay. So now with that done, we can send the information to the plotter, and now the plotter will just cut this out. Or not cut it out, but the pen will just mark it, and then we'll have the printout, the full-size printout. So now with that done, let's cut this out, and we've got the printout. Now we can go into part 5, and that's actually putting the printout and then tracing it onto the phone. So let's get to that.